Hello, this is Trap the Snake and welcome to this early game guide for Farthest Frontier. The objective of this video is to teach you some important concepts and loose build orders so you can start a nice and stable colony. To get it out of the way, if you think that this video helped you after watching it, consider liking and subscribing. I'm also live on Twitch 4 days a week. Map selection. Certain map types are more difficult than others. Resources distribution and geography will change depending on the type. For your first playthrough, I highly recommend that you start with lowlands. You'll have abundant resources and water with not too many rough terrains. Colony location. Selecting the area where your town center will be built will have impacts all game long. You therefore want to make sure you have access to forage, like fruits, eggs, greens, etc. Animals, like deers, boars, fish. Basic resources like stone and wood. Ideally sand and clay, this will help you a lot with farming. Make sure to press F for fertility and I for irrigation overlay to see how hospitable the land is. Choose an area with a lot of green and blue. Iron, gold and coal don't have to be very close, but if you can have some, it will make it easier for later. But for now, it can be one screen away, no problem. The first few minutes. When your town center is placed, it needs to be built and therefore needs resources. Press H for harvest and drag an area around it to collect wood and stone. After the town hall is finished, you will need houses and water. Start with the construction of 4 to 6 houses. Wood will be very much needed in the beginning, so make sure to not overexpand. Build a well close to the houses. Pressing I allows you to see where there's a lot of water. Aim for 70% or more. While not ideal, 50 to 70 should do if you have no other choice. Your first industry should be the firewood chopper. Like most industry, it should be placed relatively far from the houses to not lower the desirability, which is an important metric for taxes, happiness, and upgrades. Firewood will help your population to stay warm during winter. Make sure 2 workers split wood at all time. Build a hunter cabin where you can find game, like deer and boars. Watch the tooltip or the map, as both will indicate where you can find them. Build a fisherman's shack on the edge of the water. Once again, pay attention to the tooltip and try to reach as much productivity as possible. Place a forager shack close to berries, greens, or eggs. Ideally, all of them. So all these buildings will give you the possibility to eventually move their work area, as you will exhaust the resources. Do not hesitate to change it if you feel you could get more food elsewhere. Do, however, mind the walk time. Food preservation. Building smoke houses and root cellars are the 2 early games methods to preserve your food. Make sure to build some. They can either be built close to the food gathering buildings or in a more central area. Farming. Preparing the land for farming takes a lot of time. It will generally not be ready for the same year that you build it, and then we'll need a lot of work to make it productive. With the tips I gave you earlier, you do not need to build one the first year. You can also try if you want, but mind that it will require some workforce that could be used for other things like getting more wood. I suggest to go with a 5x5 area. Big farms will require too much work and time is the essence. For the crop rotation, start with 1 maintenance as soon as possible. It will contribute to reduce the rockiness and the weed. Then go with a mix of 2 beans at the start of every year and finish with turnip. Beans enrich the soils and turnips are frost resistant. It's relatively easy to preserve and it contributes to remove weeds, which diminish your yield. Eventually, you'll be able to adjust the soil composition with sand or clay to open new possibilities. I'll try to come up with a farming guide in the near future. So here it is. I hope this basic early game guide will give you some directions to start your colony. Enjoy the game. See you next time.